Hello, welcome back. In this lesson, I want to talk a little bit about some hammer-ons and pull-offs and some more economy picking. And economy is different than alternate picking in that in alternate picking, you're always going down, up, down, up, down, up. Well, economy, you would stay in the same direction when you cross to the next string. So we're doing almost kind of like a slow strum with this while you're doing hammer-ons and pull-offs. So we're mixing a couple of different techniques here. But what's really important is when you're trying to get comfortable with hammer-ons and pull-offs, a lot of times the issue is with the picking hand yet again. Typically what happens is you'll pick the very first note really, really loud and then try to match the power of that with the other fingers on your left hand. So for example, if I went, by the time I get up to here, the note is completely dead. It's gone. All of the sound in it is left. And a lot of that, instead of thinking about, just pumping iron with this hand and making sure this is strong as possible, it's actually more of a control with the pick. So what I mean by that is, yes, you do want to work, and we'll talk about, the target practice and the strength on the left hand. But oftentimes, if you pick that very first note when you're doing a hammer-on sequence, just pick that a little bit lighter, and you are on your way, you're on the path to starting to get a little bit more clarity on the notes that come after that. So you play the very first note a little bit lighter, but we also want to talk about what's happening with the left hand when you have these hammer-ons, okay? If you imagine that you were to throw a ball to somebody across the yard, you won't throw from your elbow, right? That would that would go about 2 feet, or you would just drop it on the ground. If you're playing catch, you throw from your shoulder. And the rest of your arm can't be stiff, right? The rest of your arm has to be relaxed in order to throw. It's very similar when it comes to a hammer-on and pull-off. Pretend that this knuckle, the hand knuckle, is sort of the shoulder of the hand, right? You want to launch from there, keeping the rest of the finger relaxed. Typically what happens with hammer-ons and pull-offs is a lot of guitar players will actually play it from this knuckle right here. And no matter how much strength you put into that knuckle, it's never going to be as relaxed, confident, and clean as this knuckle here. So not all the time will you have the option to use this knuckle, but whenever possible, you want to be in control of it and know that that's going to be a whole lot easier to play. So for example, if I were going to play the very first riff that we did in our first lesson, if we want to play those hammer-ons, I'm actually launching the finger from here. And not only am I launching the finger from there, I'm not thinking about more. It's not extra tension. It's actually more relaxed. And not only is it more relaxed, it's targeted the fingertip right before the edge of the fret. If you try to do the same thing lower in the fret, you get those sounds. But if you just take the same amount of pressure that you've been using, the same amount of power, and just go right behind the edge of the fret, then you get a clearer sound. And yes, that is something that you learn early on, but it's something that I find I have to come back to again and again and remind myself, oh, if something's not working, it may just be a shift in where I'm playing in the fret. It may also be a shift in the thumb. It may be that I'm picking a little bit too hard here, but those are the things to watch out for. So it's not just powering through to make it the strongest sound possible. Sometimes it's eliminating the power in another way, the picking hand, too much strength or too much tension in your wrist. So just be aware of that. So let's walk through the lick and let's kind of just highlight some of the things to watch out for. What we're going to be doing now is instead of just doing a 3-octave G major scale like this, now we're going to actually take a little bit of a different part of that. We're going to start on the third, which means the third of it is going to be starting on B. That'll be on the 7th fret. And for this one, instead of going 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, which makes it easy to remember, this is going to go 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4 on the next one. And that sounds like this. And then you just hop up an octave from here. Same thing, hop up an octave, up to here. Okay, so from there you'll go 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 7th fret, and then the 9th fret on the D string, and then the 12th fret on the B. Okay, so now what we want to do is we're going to actually build a lick that goes from this one, the very first one that we did, and connecting all the way up to this one, back and forth as we work our way up. So let's try that slowly together. We're going to go 1, 2, 4, and then we're going to go all the way up to the 7th fret. So from here, and then we're going to go to the 4th fret of the D, and then up to the 9th fret, right? And then we're going to go to the 7th fret of the B, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, and then all the way up to the 12th fret of the B. And so that is how we work our way all the way up through it. And now we're going to go back down, so you'd go 4th fret, 7th fret, and then we're going to end the lick by just staying in this position and going 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. Sounds like this. Excellent. So what we're talking about in economy picking is an economy of motion, meaning we're not doing any wasted movement down here. There are plenty of economy picking licks and riffs where instead of when you cross to the next string, you're actually kind of staying in the same direction, more in a sweep picking. And we will get into that in a little bit more detail. But here, the language of economy picking meaning economy of motion. Is there any wasted space? Are you kind of leaving the area of the strings every time you play and then have to reset and find where the next part is? Or just very slowly kind of rest on the next string as you're going to the next one that you need. Just think, is there any extra movement that I can eliminate? Economy of motion. All right, so now we've gone through that. Let's actually hear what it sounds like up to performance tempo with the backing track, and this will be at 120 beats per minute. Ready, set, go. All right, so now we've gone through the riff. We've talked about what to do with the left hand, with the right hand. Be aware that sometimes playing those hammer-ons and pull-offs can sometimes make you want to play faster, but it's important to make sure your hammer-ons are still to the beat. So the hammer-ons are not just for speed, they're actually a specific tonal quality, right? So just make sure that you're lined up with the backing track, with the drums there. And in the next lesson, we're gonna go through that in 3 different tempos. So I will see you there. Bye. So we're going to take this varying G major multi-octave hammer-on riff, and we're going to play this in 3 different tempos. The first one is going to be 80, and just remember, don't try to go too fast. Line up every single note and make sure that you're going for clarity, not speed here. All right, so let's try this at 80 beats per minute. Ready, set, go. Ready, set, go. Ready, set, go. Ready, set, go. All right, excellent. Now let's try that at 100 beats per minute. Ready, set, go. Ready, set, go. Ready, set, go. Ready, set, go. All right, so now let's try this up to performance tempo at 120 beats per minute. Ready, set, go. Ready, set, go. Ready, set, go. Ready, set, go. All right, excellent job going through those. In the next lesson, I want to take what we've done in the last few lessons in terms of our alternate picking, spanning 3 octaves in the key of G, but then also some of the hammer-ons and pull-offs and position jumps and put them all into a musical context. So I look forward to going through that with you, and I will see you in the next lesson.